Yes, I get used to acting on the camera.
Yes.
But I never imagined that I could have a chance to act on a film.
Yes.
So when he told me about the project, and I was so excited,
Right.
yet I have no idea what I'm doing.
Right.
Or when the director told me
Yes.
action,
Yes.
that's the start of the acting, and everything was changed. My emotion, I get into
Right.
the script, and it turned out really great.
It's now time for local legends, past, present, and future on the 50 Plus One Production Network, sponsored by Perry Jenkins. I'm your guest host, Atlas X, and today we have Lady E. Liz.
Hello, everyone. This is Lady Elise.
How are you doing today, Liz?
I'm doing great.
All right, so today, everyone, this is a special international edition of Local Legends Past, Present, and Future. Lady Eliz is currently a local legend in the Philippines. Liz, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, and I'm so excited for our interview today.
Yeah, it's great to see you again. I know we had last time you were here, we had a chance to hang out a little bit when you were performing. Now you're back here in the United States once again. Wow,
Thank you for having me.
you're more than welcome. With that being said, let's get right to it. You're from the Philippines.
Yes.
All right. And I always like to ask music artists what inspired them to get started in the music business. So, what was your inspiration to get into the music business?
My inspiration actually is my father. He's my mentor, and the life in Philippines makes me inspired to to push my dream. Yes.
Okay. And besides your father, who you're telling me a musician himself, all right?
Yes. Yes.
Right? And your father plays the violin, plays the guitar, right? And I think you also have played some instruments. Which instruments do you play?
Yes, I play bass, drums, and guitar.
I might
Yeah.
have a little bit of a Sheila E here as far as the drums are concerned, all right? But I know you really told me you like the bass,
Yes, that's my favorite.
a
Yes.
favorite instrument.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I believe you also told me you had some sisters perhaps you may have performed with. Is that right?
Yes. Yes. She's actually my idol, my first idol.
Your first idol?
Yes.
Okay, being your sister. So, Liz, how long were you doing performing in the Philippines? How many years maybe did you, do some music in the Philippines itself?
Actually, I started in singing when I was 5.
Mm-hmm.
And then I joined in a singing competition in the radio, like
Okay.
that. And my father is my mentor. He pushed me to hone my craft at that young age. He's the one who introduced me with a lot of people. And when I joined in the band, I was 14 years old.
Okay.
Yes, at
So
that
now
young
you're in the
age.
band, everything's going good.
Yeah.
Then, unfortunately,
Mm-hmm.
disaster took place in the Philippines and your home was destroyed, right?
Yes.
Right? And this was sort of the motivation for you moving to Japan, right? Because you wanted to earn some money in
Yes.
Japan to send back to your family,
Yes.
right? So when you moved to Japan, now you're there. Tell us about Japan. Before we even talk about the music that you were doing there, I've had some relatives to go to Japan, and they tell me it's very clean. Is that true, Japan?
Yes, Japan. That's part of their culture, the cleanliness and the politeness and everything. And it's a beautiful place, really. That's my second home.
Right. So now you're in Japan. So tell me, how do you start performing when you're in Japan? You move there, and what are you doing? Where do you perform at?
Actually, when I come to Japan, I am a talent. It's a production with a lot of artists from Philippines.
Yes.
Yes, and then I go there with my band. Yes, so that started my career in Japan. And when I first time that I saw Japan, I realized that this is the place where I can make my dream come true, and I could help my family financially.
Okay.
Yes.
And probably more exposure in Japan.
Yes, 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 because a lot of opportunity there as a, Filipino singer. So there's a lot of clubs there that I could perform. So that makes me feel like I want to start a new life here.
Great. Now, the Motown connection. You tell me you meet somebody who's in Japan singing over there, and you get an opportunity to eventually to come to the United States to go to Detroit and perform. Tell us about that.
Yes, that was 2002 when I met this recording artist from Detroit, and we become friends because we're working the same club. In that club, there's a lot of Black American performers, artists that working there, and I really like the black music.
Okay.
So I could easily to could be friend with them, and we exchange contacts like that. And she told me, hey, when you come to America, come to visit me,
Okay.
and I will show you what I do there. So when she told me that, as soon as she finished her contract in Japan,
Yes.
I applied my visa going to America, and I visit her, and I saw the kind of music that she do, the world she's living there. It inspired me to, oh, I wish that I could also apply it to myself, because ever since I wanted to make my compose,
Yes.
to make it in really reality.
Yes.
And she's the one who my opener.
The door
Yeah,
opener for you.
yes,
Yes.
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 So that's the start of my American dream,
Okay.
doing as an artist, not a
Okay.
cover singer.
Right, right. That's a big point right there. So this is a key point. As I say, sometimes people have what we call pivotal points
Yes.
in their life. You met someone and she inspired you. So now you go back to Japan, okay? And now you figure you want to focus on more becoming the lead singer instead of a background singer.
Yes, yes.
Right. So now tell me, you're back in Japan, you've got this new mindset now, right?
Yes.
What you want to do. You start working on an album and you meet a producer, investor. So tell us about this, because this is going to be your first album, right?
Yes, yes. So his name is Yoshimoto Masaaki. He's a businessman, Japanese businessman that I met in a club, and he's the first customer there. And the owner of the club, is my friend, and she introduced me to him, and she requests me a song. Can you sing my favorite song, "I Will Always Love You"? I said, okay, I will sing it for you. So nobody there, only three of us.
Okay.
So as soon as he heard my voice, he told me that, do you have a manager? Do you have a manager? And I said, no, I don't have a manager. Can I be your manager? And I wanted to help you. And I said, okay. I was jumping for
Right,
joy,
right.
because that's the time that I'm waiting
The
the
opportunity.
opportunity in Japan.
Opportunity.
Yes, yes.
Right.
So as soon as we settled everything, then he
Yes.
produced my first album, which is Elizabeth Fronda, my first Japan.
Right. And this is your by your name. This is your
Yes,
first album.
yes.
Okay. So now, once again, here we are in Perry Jenkins' studio. All right.
Yeah.
But Perry has a partner, Jesse. So Perry, once again, everyone, is more on the music side of it as a gospel artist, and he does more of the musical production. But Jesse is on the film side of the business partnership. So now we fast forward to 2008.
Yes.
You meet Jesse
Yes.
in Japan, right? You guys talk a little bit. And then, as you told me the other day, you sort of lose communication with each other for a while.
Yeah.
A couple years go by, and you contact Jesse again. He remembers who you are, and you tell him, you send him some music from your first album, right?
Yes.
So what happens then?
So the first album that I record everything, the tracks there. There's some couples of songs that I'm not included to that album because I'm not satisfied in what I recorded. So as soon as I sent to Mr. Jackson all of the tracks, and he asked me, "Hey, do you have any other tracks?" And I said, "There's two tracks here that I don't even I don't even want let anybody to hear it."
Right.
And he just sent me, and I sent it to him, and I said, "Hey, this song is gonna be this is beautiful." And I said, "Oh," and then that's what it started. And he sent it to Mr. Perry Jenkins and
Right.
to everybody, George, and then David Poe and everybody. So that's what all started. The rest was history.
Right. So now tell me, so you're in Japan, you've done your first album,
Yeah.
okay? You met someone in America, came here, but let's go back to the Philippines. Is there any particular Filipino artist that inspired you also? Anyone?
actually my favorite OPM. We call it in Philippines OPM.
Mhm.
Is the queen of jukebox queen of the Philippines, Miss Imelda Papin. She's my favorite singer
Mhm.
there because I sing most of her song.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also, besides singing her songs, somehow you also got known as the Mariah Carey of the Philippines, right? And did you also, so did you sing Mariah's songs in the Philippines and Japan?
Yes, actually, it all started when I joined in a competition,
Uh-huh.
but mostly when I joined in the band.
Yes.
When I was in Japan, I started singing Mariah Carey
How did you pick
like that.
Mariah Carey? I mean, let's think about Mariah Carey for a minute. Mariah Carey has an incredible range of when it comes to her singing ability. So for someone such as yourself to say, I want to start singing some Mariah Carey songs, you got to know what you're doing. So what made you pick Mariah Carey?
Actually, it's just that time in the 90s, that was the most popular song that
Yes.
audience request.
Yes.
So that's what pushed me to, to do that. And I started to adapt it, like, because they like it. So
Okay, so now you're singing the songs, and are you performing at local lounges in Japan and other places with the group? And how often are you performing? Like once a week? Does your producer, investor have you going around to different spots in Japan performing on a regular basis?
most of the places I really, whatever gig
Hmm.
that I have, whatever music that they asking me,
Hmm.
I do because that's my job. I'm singing. So, uh, yeah.
Okay, so now we're ready for the pivotal point number two, all right? Because you're about to go back to the Philippines,
Mhm.
all right? But you're going to go back as a 50 plus one recording music artist, right?
Yeah.
So when we come back to local legends, past, present, and future, we're going to talk about her introduction to the 50 plus one production network with Perry Jenkins and Jesse. We'll be back with more local legends, past, present, and future in a minute.
Yeah, look at the tail. Hey, how you doing? There you go. George.
Have
What's
you all
up?
ever worked together on
Yeah.
any
Yes.
projects?
Oh yeah.
Okay, okay, yeah, yeah.
All of
Oh, you work together.
yeah.
We are
What?
family. We are
Yeah.
family.
Oh well, we were working on her project.
Yeah.
Songs. George is an engineer.
Yes.
Yeah, right, right,
Yeah, so
exactly.
he engineered.
So he engineered it.
Yeah, and
Okay.
he's got a couple songs. I think he got a couple songs on her CD.
My first major audience. I
Right.
performed in a major audience
Okay.
in Keswick with
You can-
my favorite singer, R&B singer,
Kiki
Kiki
Marsh?
Wyatt.
Kick-
Okay,
Kiki
oh, Kiki
Wyatt
Wyatt,
and
okay.
Marshall Brocha.
Dope.
That's my first
She opened up for him.
performance
Okay.
here in America with a major audience. Yeah,
Right. Were you
major
kind of nervous?
artist.
Because I know like famous
I was
artists you still
like,
get
oh
nervous.
my God, I
You were
just,
nervous?
when I'm standing in front of the stage, I feel like, oh, this is
intimidating.
dream.
No,
It's dream
it's
come true.
intimidating, for sure.
Yeah. So yes, I really like to, to express my feelings while writing. When I become 50 plus one artist, it's more interesting.
Right.
So I learned a lot. I really like to collaborate with everybody so that I could grow as not only as a person but also an artist in this business. I'm originally from Philippines,
Okay.
but I am resident in Japan. I really love the culture with different countries. That's I really love to to discover ever since.
Right.
Yeah, but it's big adjustment. However, it's fun. That's also one of my purpose in what I do
Mhm.
is to bring my culture, not only my original country in Philippines, but also Japan in what I'm doing here in America.
Welcome back to Local Legends, past, present, and future. Liz, so right before the break, we were just talking about your first album, all right, that you did, and now you met Jesse, you're back in Japan, all right, and now it's time where you're about to join, the 50 plus one production network, and we have Perry Jenkins, who is one half of 50 plus one production network on the set. Perry, how are you doing today?
I'm great.
Good to have you here, Perry.
Good to be here.
So let's talk about this. Jesse identifies Liz tells you about her, okay? Then did Jessie send Perry the first album to you? Did you listen to some of her tracks off of the first album?
Yes.
Okay. And Perry, what was it about listening to her first album that she produced over in Japan that intrigued you to feel that she could be a talent to be on your production, team as far as 50 plus one? Why did you have interest in her at that time, Perry?
Because I do gospel,
Right.
and I listened to one of her songs called "You Are My Friend," and to me, that's a gospel tune, and that's the way it made me feel. And so, when Jessie brought the material to me and said, "This girl wants to come over here and record in America. Can we produce her?" And I listened to some of her songs, which she's a great writer too. Of course, all but I think about 3 songs on the album is her originals that she wrote, and we just brought them here and we updated and changed it around. I brought in Dave Poe and George McKnight, which is he's a great producer and engineer, and we changed some stuff around to add some backgrounds to it, and also we brought Bill Jolly in to help enhance the music. We also brought Ray Watkins in. He did some mixing and stuff for the project, and it went along pretty smooth, But before I ever had even met her, I liked that song. We recorded one song that we wrote called "Blame It On Me" before she got here, and then so we got here. Then we went to work.
All right. So with that being said, Liz, Perry, let me go back to you. So you evaluated her. You said, hey, she's worth bringing here. You and Jessie make the business decision to fly her here to the United States. Here we are in your studio right here. And now we're working on, Liz, what is going to be eventually your transition album, correct?
Yes.
Right? So you're working here with Perry and you get everything done with regards to the album, the transition, right? And you got your songs ready to go. And as far as I understand, you eventually go back to Japan for a little bit, but now it's time for you and Jessie, okay? You go back to the Philippines because you're going to go on the transition tour.
Yes.
All right. So Jessie, who's sitting right off set right here, is telling me you're back here and on this transition tour. A lot of things are taking place here. All right. But, let's talk about what takes place in the jungle, right? You have a performance that takes place. Tell us about this place when we mean the jungle. All right. What's going on, Liz? Tell me about this concert performance in the jungle.
Yes, it's part of my transition tour in Philippines, the homecoming concert of my hometown. And after our schedule in Manila, we fly there in my hometown, and we did that jungle concert.
And whose idea was it to actually be out in the jungle and where there are a lot of people there?
It's the idea is I'm gonna do a feeding program. I am supporting the community for almost 6 years, and then it happens that we planned it in the same time. The whole day feeding program, and the night is a homecoming concert for giving back to my people.
Okay. So now, first we have that taking place. Liz is back, fresh from Japan, stop in the United States. Now she's a recording artist. And also, now, correct me if I'm wrong, Liz, right? You're Queen City, Philippines, right? Is that right? Queen City, right? There's that's a location there, right? And you do the Wish Bus tour, right? Tell us about the Wish Bus.
Yes, Wish Bus is a major radio station.
Right,
With
107,
major,
right?
yes.
107 in
Yes,
Japan.
107.5. Yeah.
107.5 in the Philippines.
Yes, and I get an opportunity to perform 3 times, twice in Hollywood and then one in Philippines.
All right, so we're going to start off with the Philippines first. This Wish Bus is a bus, just so everyone out there can know, that music artists can get on, and it takes them around to different spots in the city and really allows them to focus and get attention from the general public, and you're featured on this, what's called the Wish Bus. So now Liz, not only does she have a concert in the jungle, she's part of the Wish Bus that's going around in the Philippines, all right? So now you have that. On top of that, Liz, tell us about basically you're sort of like an ambassador to the Philippines. Tell us about this award.
This award is a recognition that the municipality, the tourism, they give me an ambassador of music.
Really? That must have been. How do you feel about that, being ambassador of music? Because considering you know, your career started in the Philippines, you're there for a while, you've been in Japan for maybe some 20 years, right?
Yes.
Right? You come back. How does it feel to get this honor to be the ambassador? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, for me, it's really an incredible recognition. As I came from there, I started my dream from my hometown. And
Right.
when I come back, they give me that recognition. It's a big honor for me.
Right. It's
Yes.
tremendous.
Yeah, tremendous.
Tremendous honor. Right. So now we've completed this in the Philippines.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now you come to the United States and you go to California and you get a chance to go on the Wish bus again in California. How's that happen? How did you like being in California? Because there's a Filipino community
Yes.
in California, right? So how were you received now with the new transition album in California?
Yes, I received a big support from
Yes.
the community in California, and I really never expected it. But because of this exposure,
Yes.
from that major radio,
Yes.
it really helped me to make my name in West Coast.
Okay.
Yes, it's
Great.
amazing experience.
So that's perfect. So Perry, now Jesse's there with her in the Philippines, put a performance out in California. Now she's about to come back to here to South Jersey. All right, to maybe do some performing. You've already talked to Bill Jolly and some other people. So at this point, Perry, do you have any other ideas that are going on in your mind, and maybe what type of songs can work for her, or maybe how she should perform? What are you thinking as a producer now that you're starting to see her develop more? What were your thoughts, Perry?
Well, I always thought she had great style. She has tremendous range with her vocals and stuff. And when she's on stage, she comes alive. So I thought everything was fine. But now we're in the present time of trying to get some more new material for her.
Mm-hmm.
We're checking out a lot of different material, and with Jesse, all the work that Jesse done, which he done a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
His videos is driving her songs
Right.
overseas and everywhere, and he's constantly making videos of it. So I think that's have a big reflect on how her career is going.
Right.
Right. Because you put the visual with the songs, and it just takes it to another level.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, Liz, all right, you're back and you're going to be going to New York City, the Big Apple, and Jesse, who's right off a set, he decides to film in Times Square. Jesse, how did that come about, Times Square?
Well, Times Square came when we came back. We knew that she had to have a sort of a connection to New York, and what is going to Times Square? Where else can we go to? So we went up to Times Square during the day before. During the day of the New Year's, and we actually went out on the street on New Year's where the police were just all over the place. They said, they didn't look at me, they looked at her, and they let her and me, because of her, go out in the middle of the street, middle of Times Square with the rest of the other the TV stations and everything. They let us film it out there and didn't bother us. The police said, go ahead and get out there and do your thing. And then that was amazing just to us to get out there. So I said she had to have a touch of Times Square in her music video. So,
All right. And so, Liz, did you know? Thank you, Jesse. So, did you know anything about Times Square before, as far as New York City and the famous things about Times Square? Did you know anything about it?
You know what? It's my dream. One of my dreams to be in New York City, the Times Square. Yes. So as soon as I have a chance to do a music video,
Yes.
that's one of my dreams.
Wow.
Yes.
Now, Perry, I believe you also, one of Liz's tracks, and let's talk about this one. This is the one where Shaquille, and once again, Shaquille, who has been also on the 50 Plus One production podcast, right? One of his songs that Ray, speaking of Ray as in Stingray, he had produced originally for Shaquille, but there was a decision to allow Liz to do that song over. What song was that, Perry?
That was called I Won't Stop.
Right. So, and what made you feel that that was a good song for Liz to do over?
Well, it was a driving song, and Ray has some real hot beats and stuff. And yeah, as you know, Shaquille, very talented guy. So I said, well, let's try this on this project. And then we made the decision to also bring Shaquille on that track with her.
Okay. So now you're working with Shaquille Rap Arts. Do you remember doing that?
Oh yes, we always had a great time together.
Yes. Well, that's perfect. So, Perry, with that being said, now she's got the transition album. It's pretty solid. And upcoming, I remember, Liz, when you were here not too long ago, you had a chance to go to the Keswick over in Philadelphia Theater, right? And Perry, she's going to be opening up for Marsha Ambrosi, right? How did that come about,
Kiki
Perry?
Wyatt,
And
too.
Kiki Wyatt. So we have two artists there. So tell me, what's going on here, Perry, with regards to how was that worked out? I know Jesse had a contact. I know that, but what did you feel about her having an opportunity to do that, Perry?
Oh, I thought it was great. Jesse does a lot of film shooting and stuff, and he meets a lot of people, and he always seemed to bargain his way to get her on something. And so, he made the transition and the decisions to have her open up for that concert.
Great. So, Liz, I was there. Perry was there. All of us were there that night. Here you are, Kiki Wyatt, along with Marsha Ambrosi. You have a chance to open up at the Keswick. How did you like that performance?
Well, that's my first major performance on a major audience with this big artists like Kiki Wyatt and Marsha Ambrosio. I really like them. That's my favorite R&B singer.
Right. And Liz, is that your first performance in the United States?
Yes.
As far as actually, besides being on the Wish bus, as far as a live, audience is concerned, was that your first performance?
Yes, that's my first performance, and it's a black community, black
Yes.
audience.
Yes.
It's more exciting to me because that's something new to me,
Right.
and I learned from that night.
Right.
I feel like it's really my dream come true.
Great.
Yes.
Great. So now you get that under your belt, as they say, okay? And now it's time for you to go back to Japan, right? You're in Japan and you come back not too long. Here we are coming to now, right? And Perry, as you mentioned, you Bill Jolly, okay? And UGO. Perry, tell us once again, who Bill Jolly is, and tell us about UGO, because now Liz has a chance to actually perform with them. This is just recently, okay, up in Harrisburg. But give us a little background, once again, just for the audience who might just be tuning in for the first time to your podcast. Who is the legendary Bill Jolly?
Well, legendary is the right name for Bill Jolly.
Mm-hmm.
He's played for everybody who's anybody, all the way up to Frank Sinatra and everybody. So, and he also been a music director for well-known artists like Teddy Pendergrass. He worked with Celine Dion and was Grover Washington's music director. But I've been working with Bill for over 40 years on a world amount of projects. And me and him is very, very close. And so he's been, and he's like a one-stop shop. You go,
Okay.
You go to his studio. You don't have to bring no musicians with him because he does everything. So, and he does it in a quick time.
All right. So I take it, with that being said, he's also maybe worked on some of your gospel albums, Perry?
Oh yeah. He worked on some of the gospel albums, some of the albums. When I was with Galaxy, he had a band called the Production Band.
Okay.
And I used to hire them to play behind us on concerts and stuff. So, and he's a great guy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, UGO is a very well-established band here in the Delaware Valley, being the Philadelphia, New Jersey, Delaware area, and I'm pretty sure they travel to other places, but they're well known, have a great sound, all right? They're also part of this, and also Miss Black America is there. So Liz, you're in Harrisburg, right? You're getting a chance to open up for UGO, also Bill Jolly, and you get a chance to meet Miss Black America. So tell us about your recent Harrisburg performance.
As the first Asian R&B singer performing in that major stage, it's really a big boast in my career.
Yes.
As well, the Keswick, I'm always the first Filipino
Okay.
R&B singer that performed here. So that's why it's really a big accomplishment to me as an artist.
Okay.
And I'm so grateful with my team 50+1 for giving me this opportunity to show the music.
Yes, your range. Yes,
yeah,
your music skills.
Here, music.
Ability.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, they show you a lot. Okay, right. So that's fine. All right. So now you've did that. Okay. And what we've been talking right now is about your music career. Okay. And everything up to this point. But that's not all Lady Elizabeth done. So from the Philippines to Japan, coming back, becoming like an ambassador for,
Yes.
for the Philippines. Here we are in the United States, the Keswick, Harrisburg, but it doesn't stop there. She makes a trip to the ATL. So once again, Perry is the musical side of 50+1. Jesse is more of the video production side of it. Liz, you have a chance to be in a movie, right? So let's talk about that for a minute, okay? Tell us about your experience where in one you're just, there, and the other one you actually get the chance to speak, and some of your songs are played. So tell us about that.
Yes. Actually, I have a 3 song that they use it as a soundtrack of the film.
Mm-hmm.
And then the first one is on Life Isn't Fair. That was Weak. And then the first film that I was in is F Them Kids.
Okay.
And we used the Blame It On Me, which is Mr. Perry Jenkins composed it.
Okay.
And then the next movie is Unexposed, which I had an opportunity to have a collaboration with Mr. Tony Perry.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And in that one, you actually have you're playing a role, right? You have
Yes.
you have a role, right, in there, right? You get the act, and
Yes.
Jesse was telling me the other day, there's actually a scene where you actually are, you get to, you actually kill somebody on the scene, right? And so you were able to get into that mindset, right? To do that, you were,
Yes. I get used to acting on the camera.
Yes.
But I never imagined that I could have a chance to act on a film.
Yes.
So when he told me about the project, and I was so excited,
Right.
yet I have no idea what I'm doing.
Right.
But when the director told me
Yes.
action,
Yes.
that's the start of the acting, and everything was changed. My emotion, I get into
Right.
the script, and it turned out really great.
Great,
Yes,
great.
yes.
So we've got a lot going on here, considering, your career and then meeting up with Perry and Jesse. This has really been something to really boost your career and give you a lot of exposure. Okay. So we have the first album, which is your name.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. The second album being The Transition. All right. And now, Perry, and as Liz was telling me the other day, we're now working on the third album, right, which is The Evolution. Okay, so Perry and Liz, what songs do we have? And Perry, what's happening with this Evolution, this new album that Liz is telling me now she's looking to work on?
Right now, we're still in the mode of picking material for that song, and if you're listening to a lot of material that's coming in, and to pick out which one she feels is best for her.
Matter of fact, we were just in the studio here the other day, and I believe an artist by the name of Johnny Perry, was that his name?
Yes.
Right, was recording a
Johnny
song.
Simpson.
Right, and what particular song was Johnny doing that maybe Liz might sing? What was that?
Well, that was one of his originals. He has quite a few originals, and when I heard some of his material, it has the latest sounds. You know what I'm saying? And I thought it might be something that she could gravitate to, pretty well. So we can look at that and see, if we can take that any further.
Great. So Liz, we were talking the other day. Now we have, as you say, the evolution. So, because now, why did you decide to call this album The Evolution?
Yes, evolution means for me is evolving of my next album in music.
Mhm.
Yes, because the first album was Transition. It's a transition as Elise.
Yes, yes.
So now evolution for my music. That's the meaning of the next album.
Okay. So there you have it. There's a complete story. All right. We're now working on this album. We're right in the studios right here. This is where it's all happening. Once again, we have our special international artist, Lady E. Liz. We've got Perry Jenkins right here. Liz, it was really great having you here. We appreciate you being on the podcast today. We're looking to hear more music from you. Okay. And who knows what movie you might be in, right? Or something like that. So it's a lot going on with you. And we're glad to have you here today, okay?
Thank you so much. It's a big honor for me to have an interview. Thank you so much.
You got it. So once again, this is Atlas X, Lady Eliz, Perry Jenkins. This is Local Legends, Past, Present, and Future. We'll see you next time.
In the quiet of the morning light, I see the lone thoughts taking flight, reflecting on the path I've lived.